Hi, and in this video, I'm going to share the biggest mistake that women make with men. Hi there, Matt Shaffer, your empowerment, connection, and relationship coach. I'm a former attorney who chose to use his powers for good to support women in creating more fulfilling relationships with men. And that's why I'm so excited to talk about this topic. The biggest mistake I see women, I work with women around the country and around the world. This is the biggest mistake I see women make when it comes to men, and it really gets in the way of them fostering meaningful connection when that's really all that so many women want, or it's a very important thing that they want, right? So we're going to dive into this, but before we do, take a second, hit that little subscribe button. I'm always uploading new content, and I'd love for you to be part of our tribe over here. So let's dive into this. The biggest mistake I see women make time and time again when it comes to men is they take an experience that they had with one man or a couple men and create a story about all men. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm sure that you do, right? Because you'll have a bad date, right? Or a relationship that doesn't end well. You'll have one experience with one man, or maybe an experience with a couple men. And because of those experiences, you will create a narrative or a story or an assumption about all men. And a lot of times, that assumption or that story that you've created, it doesn't serve you. I've had clients who, up until working with me, had literally sworn off dating because they had a string of bad dates, or they decided that online dating was a nightmare, right? Because they had a couple relationships from online dating that didn't really work out. And I really want you to look at those stories, and I want you to ask yourself, where have you created narratives or beliefs around all men, or an entire way of dating? Like, I'm not going to go to bars, or I'm not going to go out to social situations because all the men there are scumbags, right? Or I'm not going to do online dating because it's all scammers and there's no good men there. When we create huge generalizations about all people, or an entire community, or an entire avenue of meeting people, oftentimes it's just our ego, it's just our insecurity attaching to a painful experience, right? And wanting to avoid that. So we just decide, you know what, I'm to avoid that pain, I'm going to eliminate this entire thing. And unfortunately, a lot of times what that ends up doing is isolating us, because our ego wants to keep us safe. And that isn't a bad impulse, but the way it goes about it is by cutting off anything that might be a risk. And a lot of times dating is a risk, right? If we're going to get out there and we're going to be connecting with men, and we're going to be getting to know them, and we're going to be getting vulnerable with men in lots of different situations, there's going to be a risk of getting hurt involved. And just because that risk exists, it doesn't mean that it isn't worth it. So I'm not saying don't learn from your experiences. It's important that we learn from all of our experiences and we grow from them, and we don't continue to make the same mistakes or the same self-destructive patterns, right? When it comes to dating and when it comes to relationships. For example, if you date a narcissist, and you have one of those experiences with a narcissist, you're going to learn that you do not want to be with a narcissist ever again, right? And you're going to know those red flags, and you're going to be looking for them, and that is not a bad thing. But I don't want you to create a story that all men are narcissists, right? Or that no men can be trusted, or if a man seems a little selfish, then he must be a narcissist. See, that's when the wound that we may have around an experience becomes this huge generalization that can actually keep us out of meaningful connection and stop us from being open. And that's what I want to really focus on, is that instead of allowing a generalization to close us off, we want to stay committed to what we want to create in dating and relationship. So stay open to the type of a relationship that you want to experience, to the way you want to feel when you're connected to a man. And you get to trust and have faith that if you stay grounded in those beliefs, in that intention, and you keep putting yourself out there and being open, that you are going to draw in the right type of man, right? And all the men that aren't the right type of men, you're going to have the discernment from the lessons that you've learned to be able to avoid them. And when you're on a date, when you're connecting with a man, when you're connecting with another human being, really see them for who they are. Don't allow the stories that you may have created around men to project onto them. Take them and appreciate them for who they are and how they're making you feel in the moment, and then make a decision. Is this person that I'm getting to know in alignment with what I want to create and how I want to feel, or not? And if you make your decision on dating and relationship based upon that, right? Based upon your present experience of the person in front of you and your grounded intention for the kind of relationship that you want to have and how you want to feel with a man, you're going to make great decisions, and you're not going to cut yourself off from the sort of beautiful experiences that are available to you. Because to bring this back around, right, the biggest mistake I see women make is they make generalizations about all men based upon an experience they have with one man or a couple men, and that cuts them off from so many opportunities. Don't allow one bad experience or one bad relationship to convince you that love doesn't exist or it isn't worth going out there and getting after it, because I guarantee you it is. And if you operate from your heart and you're open in a discerning, powerful, grounded, empowered way, you'll be able to create the relationship that you want. So I hope this video resonated with you. If it did, take a second, hit that little subscribe button, and don't forget to click the link in the comments or caption. I've created a great training that I know you're gonna love. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time on my YouTube channel. Bye-bye.